What's up guys, my name is Joe and we are back with another episode of British Guy Reacts, and we're going back to back on the accent tour videos. This one is part 3, we uploaded part 2 yesterday. We left a massive gap between 1 and 2, but we're just going to jump straight into 3. You guys seem to love it, I love it. Let's go, let's get straight into it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, give it a like, comment down below. Let's go.
Hi, Eric Singer, dialect coach.
Good
the
to
map
see you
tour
again,
of
Eric.
North American accents continues.
Old buddy, old pal. I'm expecting to see Callie in here.
If you missed parts 1 and 2, you can check them out here. We're diving into part 3 from the west. Let's talk about California.
Oh, straight in there.
Let's talk about Southern California.
Okay.
Another part of the country where we have some really exciting ongoing change. So just like in some contemporary English accents, a more open oral posture, a lower jaw is lowering some vowel sounds, most noticeably the dress and trap vowels. There are a bunch of vowel sounds moving around here. Goose and goat can both be very fronted.
Goose and
the
goat.
short I vowel, the kit vowel, is being split in 2. Before NG, it's likely to sound like E, so thing, going, just like the rest of the West, but otherwise it's
Thing,
lowered like
going.
dress and trap. So bid gets closer to bed, miss begins to sound like mess, and so on. So of course, if you take this accent and like turn the dial up to 11, we're talking about a stereotypical surfer accent, like sort of a Bill and Ted's kind of thing. You can hear that in a clip here when they say excellent, that's a lower dress
Excellent.
vowel.
Excellent!
Excellent. Excellent.
Excellent! Excellent!
It's very much change in progress, so stay tuned. And of course, LA County has the highest Latinx population in the country. So I'm going to turn this over to Megan again.
Hi again. Now I'm going to talk about Chicano English. The majority of Chicano English speakers reside in the U.S. Southwest and California, and in
Chicano.
Chicago. Chicano English is heavily influenced by Mexican Spanish. Spanish has been in this region longer than English has. In 1848, Mexico ceded this land to the U.S. Because of this history, Mexican Spanish has been influencing the English of the area for a really long time. One of my favorite features is devoicing of word final Z. So the sound Z is a voice sound. You can actually tell if you put your fingers here right by your throat and you do the Z sound, zzz, you'll feel vibration. With devoicing, we use the voiceless equivalent, which is an S. So the Z sounds at the end of words turn into more of an S sound. You can hear this devoicing in the plural form of chair. Chairs becomes chairs. You can hear that feature here.
He did things, he did things, he did things.
Another remarkable feature of Chicano English is that there's less vowel reduction. So it's a little subtle, but I'll try to show you how it sounds. I say because, and someone who would reduce the vowel would say because. I say together, and someone would reduce the vowel to together. Today,
Because.
today.
I think I actually say because. Because. I wouldn't say because. Because. Nah, I'd say because. Because. Today. Together.
You can hear the features in this native speaker clip.
To hear, and to listen to everyone.
Thanks, Megan. While we're in the Southwest with Chicano English, let's make a quick stop in the Navajo Nation. Kalina?
On this stop, we will be visiting the traditional homelands of the Navajo people in the Four Corners area. The same devoicing feature found in Chicano English can also be found in Navajo English. You can hear a native speaker here.
I want him to recognize all Indian tribes.
The second feature here is the
Recognize.
glottal replacement of final consonants. You can hear the glottal stop instead of a T.
I want it to hear.
Back to Eric.
Thank you, Kalina. Next up, here's Nicole to talk about African American language.
Popping
in
everywhere in
California.
this video.
We know that African Americans in California participate in local features such as ooh fronting and up talk. You can hear that here.
I'm Imani Dorn. Tuesdays, too soon to do that. Tuesdays.
A 2016 study found bat retraction, or the A vowel being pronounced further back in the mouth, among Bakersfield African Americans. You can hear that in this clip.
I'll be right back, and then we can stack those boxes. Right back, right back.
And now the map tour continues with Eric.
As we move north from California, up in the Pacific Northwest, we've definitely got that caught merger. They sound the same up here, just like they do everywhere in the West and in Canada. But one thing you hear a lot up here is a lip-rounded vowel for it, ah. So here we might talk about a hot pot.
A hard part. A hard part.
Oh, There's a little pocket around San Francisco that doesn't have the cot-caught merger, by the way. So unlike the whole rest of California, the whole West Coast really, cod and caught sound distinct here, like they do in most of the South and the East. Just a little dialect island. Up over the border in Vancouver, you'll hear that same lot rounding, but you'll also start to get raising and tensing in the trap vowel when it comes right before a g sound, like in bag, agriculture, flag, similar to what you can hear over in Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota again, there's a fascinating dialect pocket in Alaska, the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, that can sound uncannily like those broad Minnesota accents. A lot of people suddenly noticed this in 2008 when Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska, shot to national fame as the Republican vice presidential nominee. You can see that here in this clip.
I appreciate this privilege of being able to be here and speak with Americans.
We want to keep our AAA bonding rating in Minnesota.
It turns out that in the 1930s, there was a huge migration of farmers to the Mat-Su Valley from Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So that's how that happened. Okay, back to Canada. Now, Kalina's originally from the Northwest Territories. Let's go back to her.
There are 9 official languages spoken in the Northwest Territories, including Norse Slavey, which is a part of the Athabascan language family. I'm inspired by the many revitalization efforts by our people to save our languages. For example, Language Nest in Hawaii. This is where young people are immersed in the language every day with elders in the community.
That's cool. Make sure it continues.
Another revitalization method is a translation of popular television shows and movies into indigenous languages. Because of all of this, I have tremendous hope for both the future of our Native American languages and of Native American English.
Thank you, Kalina. Okay, let's go to Toronto, and let's talk for just a minute about probably the most famous Canadian accent feature there is. It's called Canadian raising, though you may not have heard it called that, but you're probably familiar with oot and a boot, yeah?
Oot and a boot. We're going oot and a boot.
Of course, Canadians aren't actually saying oot and a boot. What they're doing is raising the start of the diphthong in words like out and about, so that instead of it starting very open, ow, it's starting from somewhere in the middle of the mouth, oh. It only affects syllables that end in an unvoiced consonant, so words like out, about, house, mouth.
Out, about, house, mouth.
In words like how, now, loud, rouse, Canadians still use that wide ow diphthong. Canadian raising isn't only in that class of words though, the mouth vowel. It also affects the price vowel in the same way, so that the starting point of words like right, life, type, mice can get raised too. But words like rise, five, tide, fly keep their full I diphthong. You can hear the contrast between both of those if I say something like, that's a fine price for a brown house. So out in the Atlantic provinces of Canada, we'll hear accents that are...
It's crazy that people have like studied accents this deep. It's so cool, but it's crazy, right? The sound of vowels. Like you don't even think about what you're doing when you talk, but there's so much going on, and it's just where you've been brought up, your family, your ancestors. It's crazy, man.
Are in some cases almost unrecognizably different from what you'll hear in most of the rest of Canada. And once again, isolation and length of time are the key factors here. Newfoundland accents are maybe the most distinctly different of all. I'm giving this one a go, even though I've never done it before, so...
This sounds Irish to me. This just sounds like an Irish person.
I'm giving this one a go, even though I've never done it before, so... Be gentle, please, you newfies. Now, there's lots of variation here, of course, and most younger folks aren't going to sound like this, but this would be an accent from the far southeast of Newfoundland, down below St. John's. We could go on about this one all day. Sounds a bit Irish, doesn't it?
It does.
This part of Newfoundland was, in fact, settled by Irish people, mostly from County Wexford. There's quite a lot of reasons why this particular old Newfoundland accent sounds Irish. Vowel sounds, of course, intonation, aspiration, but you'll also hear the Irish slit T.
The Irish
What's a slit T? It's a T sound made with a very soft closure at the tip of the tongue, or not even really quite a full closure at all. There's a slit left for the air to escape through. What? That.
What?
Hit it.
That.
I could stay here all day, but it's about time to wrap this up. So let's dip back
short
down
one, this
across
one.
the border back into the States and end close to where we started, in northeastern New England. I remember that caught merger. Well, the whole western US has it, and all of Canada, and so does this part of New England. Goes down about as far as Boston. Rhode Island doesn't generally.
It's funny because this accent to me sounds like a posh American accent, and you guys always think we speak posh, and it would happen to be in New England of all places. But this sounds like a real posh accent.
This part of New England. Goes down about as far as Boston. Rhode Island doesn't generally have it, but here in Maine, you've got that caught merger, so all the vowel sounds in those two big groups of words are merged. They all sound like aw here. You know what doesn't all sound the same, though? Mary, marry, and Mary. Now, they do in my normal accent, Mary, Mary, Mary. And the same is true for almost all of North America, but most speakers up here still have distinct pronunciations for all three.
I think Mary, marry, Mary. Mary, marry, Mary.
Mary, marry, Mary.
That's right, though. That's how I speak. Mary, marry, Mary. Mary, marry, Mary. Marry, Mary, Mary.
Even more interestingly, at least in some older folk speech still, the historical distinction between horse and horse is still preserved. So if your horse has a sore throat, you might have a hoarse horse. You can still hear this distinction in parts of Ireland and Scotland and parts of the US South, but that's about it.
Horse and
one of the
horse.
last places
Oh yeah,
you'll
we
hear
say
it.
that same.
And that's
Horse
it.
and
That's our
horse.
last stop.
There we
So,
go.
listen, let me just say again, this is not meant to be a comprehensive tour of all North American accents. We've tried to be at least somewhat representative and to include some insights into how and why accents might differ from place to place. I sincerely want to thank all of the linguists and language experts who've helped out. And if you want to follow them, here they are one more time.
You can find me on Twitter at Megan D. Figueroa, and you
go.
can also
Do you wanna
find me at
follow
my
any of these people?
podcast, The Vocal Fries Pod.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Mixed Linguist.
If you want to learn more about the Gullah language and what I'm getting into, follow me on Instagram at @SunbaShow, Twitter @SunbaShow, or sunbashow.com.
You can find me at amonidorndialects.com.
This video would have had to be about 10 times longer if it were really going to be systematic and thorough. But these are some sounds I love and some things I think are interesting, and I had a lot of fun sharing it with you. If I've piqued your interest about accents and variation, here are some cool resources for finding out more, and we'll throw some more in the description below.
And there we have it. That's the end of the mini-series of the accent tour, but I don't think we're quite done with accents here. I do want to dive into some more videos, maybe guessing people's accents, or, you know, I don't know, just listening to people from different places. It's always interesting to me. It's crazy how people's accent changes while they're speaking the same language. Just over like short distances and small distances, it can be so different. Really fascinating to me. Really enjoyed this series. I hope you guys did too. Let me know down in the comments what you want to see next on the channel. Anything accent related or any general USA reactions, let me know. I'll take a look. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and I'll see you for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.